This man right here has broken the hearts of so many around the state of Florida. Billy Napier has to go, and it's so evident. It's so obvious. He's got to go. This dude is 21 and 23 as our head coach. This guy, 21 and 23. That is the worst record under any head coach since World War II, since the 1940s. That was the last time the Florida Gators have been this bad. And yes, we've had some down years under Will Muschamp and Jim McElwain and Dan Mullen even, but this man has somehow exceeded expectations of terrible. And now we are trapped. He's in a $20 million buyout. Please, for the love of God, just pay it. Just pay it. I will kick $10, 15, whatever you want. Just take it. If we all give $10, eventually it'll get paid. It has to get paid. He has to go. And I think he will go. I just don't know if it's going to happen mid-season unless we take a terrible loss to somebody. But I think without a doubt, Billy Napier will 100% be out by the end of this year, minimum. Okay. Napier has been given every chance to succeed. The only thing he does well is recruit, and even his recruiting is kind of just on par with Dan Mullen's, maybe a little bit better. Like, we've had some nice transfer grabs, and we landed Lagway and McCray under him, and Dallas Wilson. We've landed some big guys under Napier, but it's all been under this false assumption that we were going to do anything with them, that we were going to contend. We were never going to contend under this man. I've never seen play calls so stupid. They're so bad. I just don't understand it. He's running delayed handoffs on 3rd and long. What are we doing? Why are we calling a halfback draw? Why don't we actually try to pick up the first down? Why are we... The 3rd down play calling is terrible, not to mention time management, calling timeouts randomly when we are in a close game in the 4th quarter and just burning timeouts and letting the opponent kill clock. And I mean, even in the win over Texas, this dude is doing everything he can to just bleed the clock out while he's doing everything he can to keep the clock stopped. And it's what are you doing? We need to bleed this clock out. We need to win this game. But he's calling timeouts on our drive, and he's dropping back to throw. And it's he just does everything wrong. I've never seen a Billy Napier play call and been whoa, that was a good play call. That was awesome. That was cool. I've never seen it before. This guy is terrible. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about who needs to replace him, who we need to look at, and first up on my list. First up, I know, I don't even like to see his face after week 2. It was bad. Okay, Alex Golesh and USF came in the swamp. They took it over. Okay, 18 to 16. It's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic that we let that happen. But I will say, Alex Golesh, he's a hell of a football coach. I mean, this guy took over a team that had 4 wins prior under, I think his name was Jeff Scott. The guy was terrible. Okay, the guy was awful. 4 wins. I think he finished that guy was terrible, man. He had 4 total wins in his entire tenure at USF. It was so bad. And the 4 wins last year came from the interim head coach. He contributed to one of those. The guy was awful, and they kept him for 3 years. I don't know what the hell USF was doing, but Golesh over here has actually been legit. Okay, he took a 4-win team, made them a 7-win team the next year, his first year as the head coach. And the second year, they win 7 games again. By USF standards, it's pretty damn good. And they won 2 bowl games under him as well. And then now this year, he's got them 5-1, with their only loss being to number 3 Miami on the road. They've pulled off upsets against Florida, against Boise State, and then they've gone on the road at undefeated North Texas and knocked them off, scored 63 points on them. And granted, they give up like 30 something, but they kind of dominated in North Texas, especially in the second half. Alex Golesh, I think, is the real deal. And I understand, seeing his face right now is tough. It's tough to even keep staring at it after that USF loss. But he is a very good head coach. He's fiery. He reminds me a lot of Dan Campbell with the Lions. He cares. He genuinely cares. And that's something Napier lacks. This dude doesn't care. Like, maybe it's the money, maybe it's the contract, maybe Golesh will turn out the same way, but Billy Napier does not care. This dude is not contesting calls at all from the refs. He's no fire. He's just checked out. He's been checked out for years, man. He's done. Okay. Golesh, he's young. He brings some fire. I don't mind this. And I don't necessarily want a head coach from a smaller school like USF, because that's what we've done with Billy Napier, coming over from Louisiana Lafayette. Jim McElwain before him. McElwain was coming over from Colorado State. I think we should go out and maybe get a bigger name than Golesh. But if we do end up with Golesh, I wouldn't protest it. I think it would be okay. I think he's a good coach. I think he's much better. He's a much better coach than Billy Napier, clearly. Beating us is kind of crazy. We recruit miles ahead of USF, and our athletes are so much better, yet Napier got outcoached. And that's sometimes all it can come down to. And Alex Golesh truly did that against Billy Napier. And now he's got to, I guarantee you, if we don't hire him, he will get hired by a Power 4 school after this year if he takes the job. He might even stay at USF. I don't know. I know that they're trying to become like a legit football program. They're building a new stadium and they're recruiting a little bit better, and that's partly because of Golesh, but they're in a good location and they could end up maybe kind of competing later in the future, but I doubt he stays. I bet he goes to a Power 4 school. The Pac-12 is done. But if I bet he'll end up at like an Oklahoma State or a UF, or, I doubt Penn State. But, regardless, he's going to get a big bag somewhere, and he's going to see a lot of dollar signs after this year. And I think it's going to be hard for him to resist and just stay at USF. So Golesh is the first one. I know it's tough. Next up, Brent Key, Georgia Tech. He's a tough one. He's kind of a tough one. He took over as the interim head coach after they fired their last coach. No idea who he was, if I'm being completely honest. But he turned them around a little bit. They won 4 games under him. I think they'd only won 1 prior to firing their last head coach. So he came over. He went 4-4 as an intern head coach, which I think is very good. And he went 7-6, I think, back-to-back years. And now he's looking at a 6-0 season in Georgia Tech. Georgia, you can't deny that Georgia Tech has looked much better under Brent Key. They're competing. They're in every game. They've beaten FSU. They beat FSU last year, which is not really a huge achievement. They were 2-10, but Georgia Tech beating FSU hasn't really happened in a little while. So for them, it was a big achievement. They beat Clemson this year. They're up there competing with the top names in the ACC, even if those top names are down. They are there, and they're competing with them now. They're 6-0 now, and this looks like the best team that Brent Key has put together over there so far. And he's in his 3rd year. This is what you want to see from a head coach that we haven't seen from Billy Napier. Another reason why Key could be a good replacement is because this guy has gotten better each year he's been there. He's getting better. They're winning bigger games. They're in bigger games. Last year they took Georgia to the wire. I think it was 7 or 8 overtimes. And they got so close, but they just dropped the game. But they were in that game, and Georgia Tech hasn't been in the game against Georgia in a very long time. Georgia Tech is they're back a little bit. And, they're 6-0. The thing that worries me, though, about Brent Key, it's the triple option scheme. And I understand maybe you inherit that, right? Maybe you inherit that at Georgia Tech. They've been running that over there for years. But I don't like the triple option. Maybe that's just a personal thing. I just don't see that succeeding at the level that it does in the SEC. I don't see that succeeding like it does in the ACC. a lot. The ACC just, it's not as packed as the SEC is. You're not going to get the fours and fives on the defensive line like you were going to get in the SEC, with the exception of a couple schools like maybe FSU and Clemson and teams like that, but nothing like too crazy over there in the ACC, right? I mean, mostly like threes and fours are going there. So, I don't really like the triple option being brought to the SEC, and I think there's a reason why it hasn't been done yet, because I think it's pretty evident that it's not going to work. So if he is just a triple option guy, and if that's all he can bring to the table, I don't mind running a option offense, but an entire triple option offense, it's a very specific scheme. You have to have a very specific quarterback to do it. Lagway can't do it, that's for sure. I mean, people kind of view him as a scrambler. He's not really a scrambler. He's been more of a pocket passer. So things would just have to change drastically from a scheme standpoint if that's the scheme he would bring over. If not, I don't know, maybe he did something before. But Brent Key, I do like him though. He's turned Georgia Tech around. They're playing with fire again. And I've always kind of liked Georgia Tech too. So, I could definitely see Brent Key here. And next up, I think this is the favorite right now. Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin, he's a whack job, man. I mean, he's a weird guy. Like, he's kind of a freak. I mean, I don't know, man. Every interview I see of him, man, he's hard to read. He's just kind of a weirdo. I mean, I don't mind it. Like, he's killing it at Ole Miss. Ole Miss has been competitive again with Lane Kiffin, and he's made some pretty big bowl games over there. He's gotten guys in the NFL, Jackson Dart being the most recent one, starting now for the New York Giants. And, he's put a couple guys in, Judkins, who transferred to Ohio State, but really had his best years at Ole Miss. And, some big names have come out of Ole Miss since he's been there, and they're winning double-digit games, and, 9 to 10 games now. That's kind of what Ole Miss is looking at. And I think they won 9 last year, and right now they're on pace for a damn good season. So Lane Kiffin loves blunt message for former LSU star, what Angel, whatever, man. But no, that's the one thing. He's in a lot of like weird controversies. It's like he can't really watch his mouth. I remember the Bama game. He was like, "We could get your popcorn ready, and then they got like blown out. Lane Kiffin's he's a questionable guy, but the one thing that you can't really question is Lane Kiffin is a good head coach. He's good with the X's and O's. He's going to use his playmakers, which is another thing Billy Napier does not do. And that's something I've highlighted for each of these coaches, something that Napier does not do that they actually do. Lane Kiffin uses his stars. When Quinshon Judkins was there as a true freshman, it was all going to Judkins. You had Zach Evans in the backfield as well, but Judkins took over. He saw that a freshman was electric, and he used him. He wasn't afraid to use him, and he didn't want to just start the senior over him because of loyalty. No, Quinshon Judkins got a lot of playtime here, and he really showed what he could do. If Judkins was on the Gators at that time, we wouldn't touch him because he's a freshman. We just don't want to touch him. Like, if there is a senior or a junior, Billy Napier is just going to go with him. Okay, like that's just what he does, with the exception of DJ Lagway, and that is it. And even with Lagway, we started Mertz over Lagway as well, and that's a little bit more understandable. But still, like you have an electric freshman, and you just bench him simply because he's a freshman. Can't be doing things like that. The freshmen can make an impact, and if you know that they will, if you know that they give your team the best chance to win, then play them. It's that simple. And just play your stars in general. Get your stars out there. Like, I just don't understand that. And Lane Kiffin does that. So I can appreciate that. And Ole Miss has been competing again under him. He's kind of shown some interest in leaving, I think. He makes the comment about how his red zone offense showed up just about as much as the student section did at Ole Miss. So just kind of taking a jab a little bit at the fan base. And, he's kind of upset there, it seems. He's struggled. He doesn't seem to be in his best. He doesn't seem to be very happy over there. And but this is one thing that I like, though. He's coming from the SEC. This is a guy who's coached a playoff contending team and he knows what it's like to compete in the SEC. And look, maybe this is controversial. Ole Miss, I think, has a cap. Okay, I think Lane Kiffin has gotten them to their cap. Okay, they've hit it. Like, I don't see Ole Miss ever being able to really take that next stride and become like an actual fierce college football like powerhouse. The Gators have already done that before. The Gators have done that in their history already. We've won 3 national titles. We've shown that we can get over that hump of just being like a playoff team or just being like a good SEC team. We can be more than that. Urban Meyer won a national championship with us, and Steve Spurrier won a national championship with us. It can be done. It just hasn't really been done at Ole Miss. And it's going to be a hard thing to get over. And at Florida, you have access to much more resources. You have much more money at your disposal. He could just make that change, and I wouldn't doubt it at all. I know last year the Gators were gonna just throw money at Lane Kiffin. They should have just done it. Okay, and Billy Napier gave us some hope last year at the end of the year. It was false hope. Lane Kiffin should have been the guy, but I would not mind hiring Lane Kiffin in the slightest. I think Lane Kiffin is a good head coach, and I think I would be totally fine with bringing him in. SEC competition, he understands it. He understands recruiting at a high level, and I think he would be a great hire. Okay, hear me out. Kenny Dillingham, Arizona State. I would be more than happy with Kenny Dillingham coming over to Florida. I feel like he has really done well over there at Arizona State. I mean, he had a really rough start to his tenure. He went 3-9, I think, over there at Arizona State in year 1, which is rough. But he was taking over a bad team, and it was year 1. There's always a mulligan on year 1. But I don't like the way he's looking at me in this picture either. It's kind of creepy. But, we're going to switch it because that's, there we go. He's young, right? This dude is in his, late 30s, early 40s. He's young, super young. I think he's a solid recruiter. I think he's a good talent developer. Sam Leavitt came over there, and he has killed it at Arizona State so far. He's been a Heisman contender the last 2 years now. Cam Scatbo just last year kind of came out of nowhere and turned it on at Arizona State. So I do think he's a good talent developer, and he got Arizona State in the damn college football playoff, and they won the Big 12. I mean, I do believe he's a good coach. Right now they're facing a little bit of adversity. I think they're 4-2 right now, but the losses aren't that crazy, and I wouldn't mind Kenny Dillingham coming over at all. I think he's a motivator. He's young. Players seem to respect him. He cares. He's fired up on the sidelines. He's into the game, and I wouldn't mind Dillingham coming over in the slightest. And next up, my personal favorite, Jon Gruden. This is one of my favorite people in just the football universe. This guy is hilarious. He's absolutely hilarious. He's insane. Like this, he just eats, sleeps, and breathes football 24/7. Now, he's not without his issues for sure, but he's looking for a coaching return. He's still young enough, and Jon Gruden is a big name. This is a big name. This would attract recruits to your program. Jon Gruden, was the Bucs head coach, Raiders head coach, won a Super Bowl in Tampa. He is a proven head coach, and he was doing well at the Raiders, but was fired for some questionable emails, but he was doing a good job over there. And granted, the NFL is different, and I understand that. It's a different landscape. Even Nick Saban didn't do as well in the NFL as he did in college. And Urban Meyer was a college legend and a Jaguar flameout. So, it can be different. It can be a different landscape. It can be a different environment. Recruiting would have to be something that he picks up or that he delegates. But for the most part, Jon Gruden, he's a genius with the X's and O's. This guy understands things that a lot of other people could not understand. He spends all his time, he doesn't even coach, and he's still spending all of his time just learning new things and understanding the game. Bringing in these rookie quarterbacks for his like QB camp or whatever he's got going on, and he's still a coach at heart, even if he's not coaching a team. And I respect that about Jon Gruden, and I think he would make a fine college head coach because he's so good with the X's and O's. Now, the only thing you'd have to worry about a little bit is that a lot of people have former players, Derek Carr being one of them, have complained that the system's a little too complicated. It can be a little too complicated because he just kind of understands too much sometimes. And if it's too much for an NFL player to understand, might be very difficult for a college player, especially young college players who are just getting to the scene, to really grasp and understand. So I think he'd have to simplify his offense a little bit, and he'd have to simplify the terminology and shorten things a little bit, which may be a challenge for him. I don't know. But regardless, I think Jon Gruden would be a fine head coach. And I think it'd be hilarious if we hired Jon Gruden, even though, I'm not looking for hilarious, I'm looking for talent, but I think he's got both. This dude's hilarious, and he's a very talented head coach, and I would totally be okay. And this guy is fired up. Like, this guy is wild, man. So I think I think the players would love him. I think he clearly wants to make a return to football in general. I don't know if he has his eyes on college or the NFL or what he's thinking, but if he wants to come to Florida, I'd welcome him with open arms. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for the next one.